Okay, audio included.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to season 5 of F1 tonight. And we are here in Australia at Albert Park. Racing will get underway shortly, should be in the next 10 minutes or so. So do stay tuned. And I will have in the commentary box with me as well, obviously, Adrian. Do you want to say hello, Adrian?
Yeah, hi Heidi. Yeah, good to be back for season 5.
Indeed. Season 5, new season, new teams, new drivers as well. But we'll get all that underway very soon. So stay tuned and we'll be with you shortly.
BRB, 30 seconds. Okay, back.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome indeed to this season 5 of F1 tonight. And what a season it is going to promise to be, and I'm certainly looking forward to it, and I'm sure that my co-hosts are equally looking forward to it. So Adrian, are you there, sir?
I am here, and yeah, 100%. Yeah, excited for this new season. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be awesome. We've got 20 drivers, full season start here, and it looks like I think one of the Williams is already going out. Let's have a quick look here. Yeah, that's Stan Drumkov in the Williams, and obviously changes to season 4 driver lineup and teams. So if I quickly run through it now, for Ferrari we have Damie Hartman and Martin Parder Cooper. For Mercedes we have Nicky Visser and Boy Williamson. For Red Bull we have Marcel France and Miguel Tourney. For Haas, Sebastian Bogart and Marcel Dronig. Renault is Bas de Breen and Jonathan Donkel. McLaren, we have 2 new drivers to F1 tonight, and obviously starting on season 5 of the first race, and that is Hans van der Berg and John Musk. So welcome to those 2 drivers for McLaren. Sauber, we have Mark Stappers and Rob Mulderink. For Toro Rosso, we have Peter Phillip and Zander Hermans. For Williams, as you can see here, we have Stan Drumkov, and his teammate's going to be Kevin Van Delft. And for Force Indio, we have Guido Ershine and Marco Pullen. Exciting lineup, Adrian.
Yeah, very much so. There's good sort of mix of the drivers there. I don't think it's going to be as sort of one-sided as last season's Constructors' Championship was, with the top 2 drivers in the championship both having to drive for the same team. Yeah, no, it's going to be interesting. As I said, towards the end of last season and just earlier on, I think the ones to watch are probably going to be, for me anyway, Renault. I know you've got your eye on Mercedes as well.
Yeah, I'm looking at Mercedes because I think they've got a strong lineup there with Nicky Visser and Boy Williams. Also, let's remember Nicky was driving for Sauber last year, but he really did put in some great racing right from the start of season 4 and stayed in that top 5 right up until the end of the season. So I think he's going to be looking to improve on that. And obviously as well with his teammate Boy Williamson, who was driving for Haas. He was, I think he was P6 in the championship in the end, but great improvement for him. So I think they're certainly going to be ones to watch. The other ones I would say though, Haas, obviously they've got Seb Bogart and Marcel Dronig. So I think that's going to be another one to keep an eye on. I know that you're looking at Renault, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. Sauber as well, I think, with Mark Schnappers and Rob Mulderink. I think that's going to be very interesting indeed as well.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, Rob Mulderink. I know he was he one of the sort of latecomers to the season last season, or just
yeah, he was. Yeah, I think he joined sort of about halfway through.
I've just seen 2 Mercedes just collide in the pit lane, just as they're both coming out together. I don't know whether that was some sort of weird glitch. It was a bit odd.
Yeah, I think it may have been a bit of a glitch there. So most of the drivers are out on track now.
Yeah. Yeah, Rob Mouldering, yeah, certainly he had a lot of good pace towards the end of the season, especially, and actually in his debut race wasn't too bad either.
No, not at all. So I mean, we've got some great drivers who joined us last season, have got a bit more experience under their belt. Got some drivers here as well that are looking to improve, and I think you know, the start of a new season is always a great opportunity to, you know, really get down to it and build up that momentum. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes. So Seb Bogart just coming into the pits in his Haas now. Bas Breen, he's still in the pits in his Renault. His teammate John Dunkel's out on track now, and that's who we're with, and he's running on the Super Softs. Most drivers on the Ultra Soft, interestingly enough, for this Q1. A couple of Super Soft runners, Seb and John Donkel, and Rob Mouldering as well. But what are your thoughts on tyre choice for this Albert Park track?
Yeah, well, for Q1, certainly everyone will be using the Ultra Softs to do their hot lap. They don't lose anything by going for the softest tyre. It's interesting that, yeah, Seb Bogard, last year's champion, or last season's champion, yeah, just went out to do a sort of banker lap or a tester lap on the Super Softs. I suppose getting a feel for the track again, grip limits and things.
Oh, dearie me! Sorry, John Donkel going really, really wide out of the turn and nearly putting it into the wall. That was round turn 8.
Yeah, he's on the Super Softs as well, and yeah, I wonder if the tyres are probably just a bit too cold. The track itself doesn't look too warm. I'll try and get the actual track temperature.
Well, it's very grey
at the moment
and overcast. It doesn't look very nice, and I wouldn't be surprised if we're looking at a possibility of rain here, because it certainly is cloudy.
Yeah, it does look a bit overcast. The air temperature is 24 degrees, track temperature is just 17 degrees. That is a very cold track.
Wow, that is a really cold track.
And we've lost Tawney. Yeah,
Miguel Tawney. We have lost Miguel Tawney. And you're going to have to bear with us, because obviously we're getting used to the drivers and their new teams. So Miguel there in the Red Bull. Not too sure what's happened with him.
Let's see where he is.
John Donkel sets the fastest lap so far with a 1:23. That's been built by Marco Pullen with a 1:22.8 in that Force India. Ooh, he's trying to get desperately out of the way there of one of the drivers. It looks like one of the Mercedes drivers, actually.
New boy Hans Vanderberg, yeah, he's just gone fastest.
Wow,
22.35.
in the McLaren has just set the provisional fastest time in Q1 with a 1:22.35. Well, not a bad show from the rookie there.
No, it's not. No, he's made a statement early on, hasn't he? Especially on this, as I said, this quite cold track. He's some half a second faster than the rest of the field. Damien Hartman as well, actually P4 in the Ferrari now. That's last season, I believe. 22.8. Guido Ershon, though. Sorry, Guido Ershon.
1:21 from Guido. 1:21.9. So just over 3. Well, there's nearly 4/10 actually faster than Van der Berg.
I think John Donkel's out of fuel, by the way.
Oh, well, that's not too helpful there. And we'll run through the track itself, but it's quite a tricky track, isn't it, Australia, Albert Park, for the first race of the season?
Yeah, it can be. It can be. Personally, I absolutely love this track. I normally do loads and loads of laps on it, especially when the game's just come out, for example. Because I sort of I do the career mode quite a lot. I do 50% races and do all the practice sessions and things. So yeah, if there's any track I practice most, it's certainly this one. Yeah, it can catch you out especially after you've given the game a break for sort of a couple of weeks. It can be difficult to, well, not difficult, but just, you know, it can take time to get used to it again.
Yeah, that's true. And we've had more or less a 2-week break for this season. So, and the drivers have been putting in quite a bit of practice certainly over the past week. So I'm expecting some good times on here. Now, remember, with the 20, we go down to 15 drivers for Q2, so just over half the field have set times. Still to set a time, Rob Muldrink in the Sauber, Mark Stappers his teammate, Miguel Torni we say is out, Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso, Bas de Breen in the Renault just coming out now, so actually I'll stay with Bass on his outlap. Seb Bogart, oh actually no, Seb's on his outlap in the Haas, so we'll stay with Seb Bogart, he hasn't set a time yet. And the new driver as well, John Muss, he's to set a time in McLaren, Stan Drumkov still to set a time. So Seb's going out on these super softs in the Haas. I think he's going to be quite comfortable in that Haas, you know, after changing from Ferrari last year.
Yeah, I think he will be. Yeah, it's just interesting that he's going out on the super softs again. Obviously saving an extra set then of the ultra soft tyres. Doesn't want to waste them in Q1. Might be doing planning to do a few laps, give himself a few chances in Q3 to get pole position. But yeah, he should be comfortably through, even on the harder tyre here, based on his pace.
Yeah, indeed. And I'll actually go in cockpit view with Seb once he starts his fast lap. So we've got an idea of the track and how it actually runs. We're just coming around the final corners now, coming onto Suffolk Straight. So DRS activation point there, that's the final DRS over the start finish line here. DRS will cut out here as they come down into turn 1. Tricky little right-hander, and especially with that left on, watching the camera go on the right-hand side, he's got second DRS now, and that's coming down to turn 3. Very hard right-hander there. Then we've got turn 4, left-hander, ride that curve, go to the right. Round turn 5, watch it, you're really building up speed, ride that curve on the right-hand side, round 5. Coming down to turn 6, hard right. Little bit of a left there, 7, right again, round turn 8. You can really wind it up as you're rolling round 8, coming down to 9, hard right-hand turn, then left for 10, ride it out to the right-hand side, go in on the left as you're coming round turn 11, or through effectively. Down to turn 11 here, round turn 12, second DRS or final DRS point there, leading you down to turn 13, hard right, right over to the left, get ready to hit this 14 on the curve there, right down, and the final 2 turns now, 15, past the pit entrance there, 16, and onto the straight. Ooh, 122.1. So it puts him in provisional 3rd place there in the Haas.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
run certainly.
I think. Yeah, sorry, I was just gonna say it's decent time though. He's only 4 tenths off of the fastest time, and he's on a tyre that's about 6 or 7 tenths slower. So yeah, you could say you know, in theory is 3 tenths ahead. Rob Mulderink as well though, really good lap. I think he was just ahead of him on just ahead of Bogart on track. Just went purple 2nd and 3rd sectors. Yeah, really good time from the Sauber driver.
Yeah, Rob Muldering in the Sauber setting the 121.7. Bas de Breen in the Renault. He's provisional 3rd in Q1 there with a 122.0. So at the moment in the drop zone, we have a Boy Williamson, and it looks like the new driver has crashed out as well, I think. John Muss, I'm not too sure. He has set a time, so he set a 129.3, but Boy Williamson is currently in P16 in the drop zone with that 123.8. Peter Phillips as well, he's done a 128.8. Clearly he can do better than that. As we say, John Muss in the drop zone, Miguel Torni as well. Stan Drumkov, only driver yet to set a time, is just coming up to around the 3rd sector now. Final DRS point coming up to turn 13. Round 14, how's that looking? Well, it's not looking too bad actually. I think we could be looking at a 122.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any drivers improving their current lap at the moment.
Yeah, oh, just over 123.0. So Stan Dronkov goes up to P11. That now means that Kevin van Delft is in the drop zone, and Kevin this year in the Williams. John Donkel in the Renault, and Peter Phillips, John Muss and Miguel Tawney obviously out, so they will be starting in row 10 in 19 and 20 respectively. So it's really between Kevin Van Delft, John Donkel and Peter Phillips. 1:23.4 is Kevin Van Delft's time. Drop time is there, Mark Stappers, 1:23.3, and then we got Martin Parder-Cooper in the Ferrari with a 1:23.2. I mean, what do we think? I mean, we've got 3 minutes remaining here. It's pretty close between those guys there on the 1:23 from Zander Herman's down, isn't it?
Yeah, it is very close. I don't know what the actual drop time will be. It might even be that 23.3. Currently watching myself, I'm watching Peter Phillips at the moment. I think he's struggling on the super soft tyres. I don't know whether he's trying as well, you know, the same as Seb Bogard to make it through on this tyre. So he's got the extra ultra soft for Q3. But at this pace, I don't think he's going to be able to do it on this tyre. This tyre's just getting older and older. He's going to need to come in and quickly get back out. I don't know if he's got enough time to do that. He's cutting it close. 2.5 minutes left.
Well, he is. Mark Stappers and Kevin Van Delft both on their outlap, so they're only going to have one more run at it. Just running on board now with Martin Parder-Cooper in his new Ferrari. And not looking too bad. I'm just watching him now. He's coming around 13 into 14. I think he's going to be a 1:23 again. I don't know if he's going to beat his time. He had a 1:23.2. He's currently starting P14.
No, it's slow in both sectors.
No, a lot
his
slower,
teammate,
like quite a bit.
His teammate though is improving his lap. Damien Hartman's in P11 at the moment. I think this might put him into the top 6.
I don't know. I think it's going to be a 1:21. Oh, just over. 1:22.4 puts him up in the P7. So in that drop zone there, we still have Mark Stappers. He's clearly not going to be able to do it. This is his outlap, I think. So this is his final chance to go. And let's run on board with Mark Stappers now on this lap.
Oh, John Donkel's just invalidated his. That could cost him. He's P14 at the moment.
All it takes is Stappers or Peter Phillips. Well, I mean, Kevin Van Delft, he's got 3 drivers that could possibly push him out. Stappers now in sector 3.
Van Delft's faster as well.
I was saying sector 1.
Van Delft and Stappers both improved their first sectors. And Van Delft on the second sector as well. He looks like he is going to go ahead.
Well, he's just coming around turn 10, 11. Can never quite work out whether that is a corner turn 10. It's just a long corner, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't really call it a corner.
No, not really. Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, he comes sort of 9, 10, and you sort of bear round. It's funny because on other tracks it would be considered the corner, but I suppose on this one it isn't.
Oh, Van Delft lost it on the third sector. He just lost the time that he gained on the first 2.
Oh no, it's a shame. And you've just got Mark Stappers coming over now. This is going to be fast. This is going to be fast. This is looking good. 1:22.4.
Really good.
1:22.4 puts him at P7, pushes Damien Hartman down to P8. And that has, well, John Donkel's riding on the edge here. He's on P15 at the moment. Martin Parder-Cooper still to set a time, and Kevin Van Delft as well.
Not to sort of spoil the party, but Parder-Cooper and Van Delft are both on invalid laps, so I think John Donkel's safe.
So it looks like Donkel is safe in this Q1. And we've got Peter Phillips out as well. He set a 1:23.7. I think he just retired on that one. I don't think he felt he could better that.
He didn't have enough.
Parder-Cooper into the pits.
Peter Phillip, he didn't have enough time. I think he was trying to come in, get back out on the ultra soft and set lap, but he just didn't have enough time to get around.
So there you have it. Yeah. So there you have it in the drop zone. Martin Parder Cooper, Kevin Van Delft, Peter Phillips, John Muss and Miguel Tawney. So Martin Parder Cooper will be starting in row 8, P16. Row 9 will be Kevin Van Delft in the Williams. Alongside him will be Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso. And row 10 will be the new driver for McLaren, John Muss. And alongside him will be Miguel Tawney in the Red Bull. So, interesting little run there. And having a look at those top 5, Rob Mulderink, great result for him. Basta Breen, obviously, we would be expecting. Guido Airshine as well. And Seb Bogart up there as well. So we've still got the old the names certainly in this Q1. But Rob Mulderink looking pretty good, isn't he?
Yeah, it's a really great start to the first qualifying session of the entire season for him. Yeah, it's good stuff.
So there we have it. Seb Bogart in 4th, and the new driver there of Hans van der Berg. Got to get that right. Don't say it in German. So Hans van der Berg in 5th. A great result for the rookie driver there, most certainly. Then, as I said, in the drop zone, Martin Parder Cooper, 16, 17, Kevin Van Delft, 18, Peter Phillips, 19 will be John Muss, and 20, Miguel Tawney. John Donkel just about scraped in. Zander Hermans was in there as well, so that was a good result for him. Obviously, improving on season 4 there, isn't he?
Yeah, it's good stuff from the... What's he driving now? I forgot what he's driving.
Who?
Is he in the Williams?
Yeah. Stan Jonkov in the Williams, yeah.
Yeah.
So, we're into Q2 now, and from Q2, we have 15 drivers, and that will then go down to 10 drivers. So 5 drivers again to be dropped from this queue. And a little bit of trivia here. Q1 for 2018 at Albert Park was the fastest lap was actually a 1:22.824, and that was set in the real world by Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. And the Q2 time to aim for is 1:21.944, and that was set by Sebastian Vettel in the Ferrari at Albert Park last year.
Interesting.
So drivers all coming out, and there's quite a number of them there, isn't there? They're all keen, aren't they? That's right on board with John Donkel in the Renault.
Interesting tyre choices. Half of the field on super softs and half staying on the ultras. The tyre choices in this session will they'll have to start the race on the tyres that they've used to set their fastest lap in this session.
Absolutely. So for those of you that are not aware, then obviously listen. For those of you that are aware, then go and make a quick cup of tea if you've got about 20 seconds to make it in. But yeah, the way it works is this. If you qualify in Q2 into Q1, so if you're in those top 10, you have to start the race on the tyre which you qualified into Q1 on. So whoever's in those top 10 at the end of this queue, they will be starting on that tyre for the start of the race. Those that are dropped will have a choice of tyre. So the ones that are dropped in this queue will be able to choose what tyre they actually start the race on.
Yeah. And also importantly, they'll be able to start on fresh tyres. Which,
absolutely.
Influence it.
Yeah, because obviously, and when I say they're starting on the tyres that they qualify on, that is literally it. They have to have the same tyre that they qualified in Q2 on.
Yeah. Drivers got to be aware or be wary of doing too many laps in Q2 trying to get into the top 10, because it can actually have a negative effect if you end up sort of doing 4 or 5 laps on a set of tyres and make it through. You're then at a massive disadvantage for the start of the race. So often it can be better to start P11 or outside the top 10. Yeah,
absolutely. Very well. Yeah, absolutely. Very, very true indeed. Now, we generally sort of have a little chat with regards to the track and its technical difficulty, but there's so many points on this track that you got to be careful on. I mean, that turn 1 and 2 can be really tricky to get that high speed through turn 1 and 2, because you can get it through turn 1, but you've got to watch yourself as you're lining up round turn 2, because otherwise you just find yourself going on the grass and into the barrier there, don't you?
Yeah, quite right. I mean, I myself struggle sometimes with turn 1's a funny one, because you start getting it right and your confidence builds, and then it gets to a point where you're then throwing it so hard into turn 1 that then you lose the back, or just the tyre just touches the grass on turn 2, and then you've spun and you're into the wall on the straight.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just one of those sets of corners where if you try too hard, you will come a cropper, as my dad would say.
Yeah, definitely. And you've got to ride out of turn 2. You've got to ride right over to the right hand side and over that rumble strip to really get the best out of it. We then come down to turns 3 and 4. Quite tricky, because you've got to watch your braking on that, and especially at the start of the race, that's normally the area that you're going to see potential collisions or contact with the drivers, certainly on the first lap.
Yeah, that's a good spot there, Eddie. Deep into that braking zone into turn 3. I mean, you're doing about 180, 185 miles an hour at the end of that straight. It's 300 kilometers now. And
DRS, it's your first DRS there, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. And well, on lap 1, you've got all those drivers around you, and all it takes is one person to just lose their concentration,
miscalculate.
For a split second. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And then turn 4, I always find quite tricky. Turn 4, I could never ever get that right, to get the right momentum to actually come out of that with a decent amount of speed, so that you can start building up the momentum around turn 5, because that's where you really build it up, isn't it? Because when you come around turn 4, you've got to be careful to get the line right into turn 5. You exit turn 5, go over to left hand side, hit the rumble strip on left, but you can build up a hell of a lot of speed coming down to turn 6, can't you?
Yeah, turn 4 I always struggle with. I can't get it right, even now after so much practice. I just cannot do turn 4 the way that some other drivers can. And it's important to get that right, as you say, into turn 5, which is the end of the first sector. I mean, if you do get that section right, you're off to a flying start of your lap.
Yeah, absolutely. It does make a hell of a difference. Turn 6, pretty straightforward, nice, easy right-hander, and then turn 7, easy left. And then as you're coming out of turn 7, you're going around turn 8, and you're, again, building up speed. It's a great section of the track to really get the pedal to the metal, build up speed down into that turn 9, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like with any turn that leads onto a long straight. You need to get the exit sort of bang on to sort of maximise your speed at the end of that straight.
And then obviously you've got the right-hander of turn 9, and then sort of the kink left into turn 10 as it winds round, and you again building up speed as you're coming down to turn 11. Now I've got to say, my favourite corners on this track are turn 11 and 12. Because you can really fly through there. It's very deceiving. You think you've got to really put down the brakes, but you can really fly through there if you get that line right, can't you?
Yeah, but you can also get it horribly wrong, of course.
Yes.
And, that's the danger. That's the danger with such with the corners that give you the most reward for getting them right. The drivers they'll risk more to get that reward. And often it doesn't quite come out the way they want.
No, not quite, and I agree with you. And then obviously you've got the final, or rather the second DRS, as you come out of turn 12, winding up round down to 13. Hard 90-degree turn 13 to the right, and then the same on turn 14. Pretty safe corners, I've got to say. I don't generally have too many issues on there, but turn 15 is not pleasant. I've got to say, I do not like turn 15, because you've got to whack it. I mean, I found I don't like to whack it down into second gear. I like to keep it in third, but more often than not, you have to go into second round that turn.
Yeah, I'd normally or go into the corner in second gear at least. Yeah, that corner can be difficult at the best of times. I imagine it's probably even more difficult with these very low track temperatures, as we said earlier on. Track is still at 17
that's
degrees.
going to make a hell of an effect.
It is, and the air temperature has actually dropped a degree since Q1, so we're now down to 23. I think that rain is coming. Sure of it.
I think we could certainly have, and then obviously the final turn 16. You've got to be careful as how you lay down the power on the exit of 16, because it's very easy to go into that barrier on the left, and then you've got the final DRS that takes you down to turn 1. So while we've been discussing obviously the track and the corners and you know what we feel about it, Seb Bogart has set the provisional fastest time with a 1:21.0 in that Haas. Rob Muldering second with a 1:21.5, so 5/10 off Seb Bogart there, and they're all on the ultra softs. The only drivers that are not on ultra softs are Marco Pullen, Mark Schnappers and Stan Junkov. Stan Junkov and Mark Schnappers still to set a time. We've got just under 6 minutes remaining. Baster Breen in the Renault, he's currently P3 in this queue with a 1:22.2. And Hans van der Berg is doing a nice little run there, I've got to say, in the McLaren. P4 with a 1:22.2. Marcel France, and in the Red Bull, 1:22.3. Stan Drunkov in the Williams, 1:22.4. He's really doing well, but we saw him doing some great towards the end of season 4. He was really doing some great qualifying runs, wasn't he? Seems to be his forte.
He was. Yeah, yeah, he seems to say he's got the pace in quali. It's just trying to get that consistency in the race, or trying to put his pace in quali into the race, and just translating that into points.
Well, he's on the super soft, so that's interesting. Damie Hartman in the Ferrari this year, he's currently P7 in this queue to 1:22.5. Zander Hermans in the Toro Rosso. Oh, he's just got beat, and it looks like he's just jumped in there, actually.
Yeah, Ershon just gone sick.
Yes, with a 1:22.3 in the Force India there. So Zander Hermans, he's currently P9 in that Toro Rosso. Marco Pullen, Guido's teammate, just coming out of the pits now. John Donkel, he's down in P11, so he's in the drop zone again with that 1:22.9. Marcel Dronig in the Haas, teammate to Seb Bogart, he's currently on a 1:22.9 in P12. And he's just gone up there. Where has he gone? Nicky Visser has just gone to P8. Nicky Visser in there. So Visser in the Mercedes has gone P8 with a 1:22.5. Boy Williamson, who we're on board with now, his teammate in the sister Mercedes, he's currently 14 with 1:23.4. And Mark Stappers, oh dear, it's not great, 1:30. He's coming into the pits now, so this is his final pit stop really. He's going to look to set a time. So in the drop zone, we have Marco Pullen in the Force India, John Donkel in the Renault, Marcel Dronig in the Haas, he's into the pits as well, so he's going to be changing up. Boy Williamson in the Mercedes, and Mark Stappers in the Sauber. So those are the 5 drivers that are currently in the drop zone. 1:22.783. I mean, it's only what, 2,000, sorry, that Marco Pullen's away from there on those super softs. I mean, that's not a bad run, is it, considering?
No, it's really not. He may even consider just staying there in P11. If he's got that kind of pace, he might be able to make a few places up on the first couple of laps. But you know, it's a risky move because you're fighting traffic. It's interesting how close it is actually between P3. Well, it was actually P4 now. Between P4 and P11, there's only 5/10 between them. Well, there was, but Visser and Hartman have just improved their laps. So.
Well, yeah. Well, we're at that stage now. 2.5 minutes remaining. This is the time now when the guys are going to be pulling out all the stops. We've only got, well, obviously Seb Bogart, Rob Muldering there in the pits. Hans van der Berg, Marcel France, Guido Airshine, Stan Drumkov, they're all in the pits. They're looking pretty safe. And it looks like Zander Herman's just pulling over there to let the Force India through of Marco Pullen. So good move there. I think Marco is on a fast lap, is he not? Yeah, it looks like he is.
Yeah, it looks like he is. P12, although he's not faster. He's not faster in the first sector. He wants to be, but he's currently not. Good second sector though. It is an improvement, 2/10. Oh, he's invalidated and he's crashed.
Oh no! Look at that. Unfortunately, when we caught it as well, Marco Pullen crashes out in Q2, so he will not be going out. And wow, that is severe damage there. Taking out the front right on that Force India. And that was, I think that was really round 12, wasn't it? He maybe laying down the power a little bit too strong, wasn't it?
Yeah, and he actually cut the inside of 12 itself, and yeah, just lost the back end over the rumble strip. And yeah, and unfortunately, when you hit the wall or hit the arm curve at 140 miles an hour, it's yeah, probably going to put an end to your qualifying session.
Yes, I think that's pretty safe to say that it probably will.
Boy, Williamson looking faster though, and Dronig as well, both looking to improve their laps. And P6, that's Baz de Briem. Oh, look out for him.
If you keep an eye on Bass, I'll stay with Boy and see what he can do in this Mercedes. Because it is literally, I mean, anything can happen now.
To be fair though, this is only Q2. This is only Q2. They look like they're battling for as late as Q3.
Oh, I think the drivers are all keen and eager, aren't they? This is the thing.
Look who the top two are. Seb Bogart and Baz de Briem. That's a familiar name.
Those are familiar up there, aren't they? So, Stan Drumkov, he's that's it. He starts P11. Zander Herman's coming in, so he'll be P12. Marco Pullen will be 13. Marcel Dronig, he's coming round now. Can he improve his time in that Haas?
Ershon's looking fast as well, looking to get out of the drop zone. I think he'll do it.
Dronig coming over now. Oh, doesn't do it. Goes up to P13. Guido Airshine in the Force India. Coming round the penultimate corner now.
Good.
Onto the straight.
Good exit.
Not looking too bad. I think that could be a 121. Oh,
yep,
122.0. So that puts him up into P7, and that's dropped Marcel France down now, and that is it. So there you have it. Marcel France will be starting in row 6, P11 for Red Bull. Oh, when he's just crashed into the barrier there. I think that's the glitch, though, to be fair.
Yeah, I think
Stan Drumkov in the Williams. He'll be alongside him in row 6, P12. Marcel Dronig in the Haas will be row 7, P13. And alongside him will be Zander Hermans in the Toro Rosso. And Marco Pullen will be starting in row 8 in the Force India. So our top 10, Seb Bogart with a 121.0. Remember, the real world time for Q2 is a 121.9. So that's interesting, because it looks to me like all the top 5 drivers there actually beat that time.
Yeah, that time you mentioned at 21.9. Was that Q2 or Q3?
That was Q2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
121.944 set by Seb Vettel in the Ferrari in Q2. And so there you have it. Seb Bogart, provisional P1 in Q2. Baz de Briem second. Rob Mouldering third. Damie Hartman 4. Nicky Visser 5. Boy Williamson 6, Guido Airshine 7, John Donkel gets in again 8, Mark Stappers 9, and Hans van der Berg, the new rookie driver for McLaren, putting in a great show. It has to be said. He's got through to Q3.
Yeah, no, fair play from him. That's yeah, really good stuff. It's always interesting, isn't it, when you get new drivers. You've absolutely no idea what sort of pace they're going to sort of be able to display. And yeah, no, I'm pleased he's through. Yeah, keep an eye on him in this session.
Definitely, it's going to be certainly very interesting for that. Now, we expect all the drivers to be on the Ultra Softs for this final Q3. And we've got just under 12 minutes remaining. And that time has come, Adrian. Let us not break tradition. Who are you going to go with? I'll go first. I'll go first because you always tell me the one that I want. I'll go with Rob Muldering.
Yeah, that's a good shout. That he was looking fast in Q1 especially, wasn't he? But you know, I'm going to stick to my gut and I'm going to say Bogard. Seb Bogard. I think he's got this in the bag.
So you're going to go with Seb Bogard in his new shiny Haas. I'm going to go with Rob Muldering. And
I was going to say, was that just to give you enough time to remember what team he was in?
Yeah, he was actually. How did you guess? was
That's a smooth stalling.
Was it that obvious? Was it so obvious that I was stalling there?
So slightly.
Oh, just a little bit. So yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how Rob does in that Sauber. I'm expecting some great things actually from the Sauber team, and we were having a little discussion before the broadcast as to how we thought you were looking pretty hot on Renault, if I remember correctly, wasn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Renault, Renault, Sauber, and Haas seem to be the ones to watch. And interestingly, all three are through. No, with the exception of Bogard's teammate.
Yeah, and the other thing is, all three Ferrari engines.
Indeed.
So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Let me just. I've got that enabled? Yeah, I thought I had. So Guido Airshine was the first man out on track, first man to set the fast lap. That's what he's on now. And I expect to see Guido up there, to be fair. I think he's going to be probably round about P6 or thereabouts.
P6 for Guido, yeah, maybe. I think it'll be a bit higher than that, to be honest.
I don't know.
I'll go P4
I don't think so, because you've got some real good competition. You know, you've got Seb, Bass, Boy, Nicky Visser, Rob Muldering there. I think those 5 guys are more likely to be ahead of him, I've got to be honest.
Alright, fair enough.
I'm
not going to
sounded like
that.
Well, yeah, okay, if you say so. I don't think so myself, but if you say so, I guess it is, you know what I mean?
Whatever you say, Eddie.
Whatever I say. Adrian, look, this isn't the way the game works. You're supposed to counter me at times.
Oh,
you know
sorry,
what I mean?
sorry. Yeah, no, you're completely
Honestly.
wrong. Yeah.
I'm completely
you're
bloody
wrong,
wrong,
Eddie.
you know. Well, this is F1 tonight, and this is season 5. Season 5, can you believe it? 5 seasons, and if you're watching for the first time, welcome, and I really hope you enjoy this broadcast. We are going to be looking to obviously broadcast every single race, and it's on a Thursday night starting from 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. Just a quick reminder for those of you that may be watching, this is not a British league. In fact, F1 tonight is a Dutch league. All the drivers, I think all the drivers are Dutch.
Yeah, they are.
So, you know, great bunch of guys, real hardcore racing. And I say hardcore racing Why do I say that? Because this is full race distance. And I'm still struggling to find any other league that actually do the full race distance.
Yeah, I don't think there are. Well, I've never come across any. I know people who want to be part of 100% leagues, but I don't actually know any other league besides F1 Tonight who does it.
No, so it's an interesting one to bear in mind there. And they are, however, though, interestingly enough, the F1 Tonight guys are looking to initiate a UK league. So for anyone that may be interested, please do get in contact with the F1 Tonight guys. You can find them, obviously message them on the YouTube, you can message them on Twitch, Facebook, and obviously in the Xbox as well. So for anyone that is interested or looking at doing some 100% racing in the UK, the F1 Tonight guys are looking to set up a UK F1 Tonight league. So anyone that's interested or may be interested in that, then do contact the guys, and I'm sure they will be more than happy to give you some info on that and help you out. And it's basically just following their format. So they'll give you the format. So a lot of the hard work has already been done in advance. And if you're interested, do let them know. And in the meantime, we still have Mark Stappers and John Donkel to set a time. Seb Bogart fastest with that 1:21.1. Still not equalled that time from Q2 though, has he?
No, he hasn't. Although he's still 3 tenths ahead of the rest of the field. So I'm
what
sure
you're saying is he's
more...
3 tenths ahead of Rob Moldrink, who I've called for pole. That's what you're saying, Adrian, isn't it?
Well, that's what I'm getting at. And I'll even go so far as to say I think Moldering may take provisional pole away from him, with then Bogard to sort of bounce back with probably a sub 1:21, I'd imagine.
Oh, dearie me. Mark Stapper's going off track there. Onto the rough. That's not going to do his tyres much good. Those ultra softs, that's for sure.
Tyres or morale, really.
Well, indeed. Well, he's on his out laps. Unfortunately, he wasn't on a fast lap there. So at the moment, as I say, Seb Bogart first, Rob Moldering second, Basterbreen third, Hans van der Berg is fourth. I mean, great show from him. Damie Hartman fifth, Nicky Visser sixth, Guido Airshine 7. So Boy Williamson 8. Mark Stapp, as I say, he's on his out lap now, just moving aside. John Donkel in the Renault. I think he's on his fast lap, isn't he? He's just coming around the penultimate corner there. Let's see what he does. And this is looking good, actually, got to say. Oh, no, 1:22.6. So John Donkel, it wasn't, I don't know where he lost it there. It looked like he was looking pretty good as he was coming out to the turn 15.
Sorry, I was muted. I was just trying to tell you he's actually out of fuel. He ran out of fuel at the end of his hot lap.
Oh, so that's why he slowed down so much.
Yep. Yeah, and I don't know. This is going to take sort of 2.5 minutes to get round to the pit lane, so I don't know if he's got enough time.
He's not going to have the time now. That's it. He's going to be down in P9, if not P10, because all it takes is Mark Schnappers to better that time, and he's going to be P10.
Yeah, that's twice in 3 sessions that he's actually run out of fuel.
Not the best of places. He should really have come in thinking about it as if he knew he was running low on fuel before he actually set the time, because that didn't do him any favours. Right, so what can Mark Stappers do in this Sauber now? We've got a number of drivers on out laps. Boy Williamson, Damie Hartman, Basterbreen looking to improve on their time. Certainly Bass is going to be trying to get into that first row, isn't he? Oh, Mark Stappers does a 1:24.7, so a couple of seconds off there, really.
Nicky Visser is on a fast lap, improved in his first and second sectors. I don't know if it's enough to get on the front row. It might be P3.
It's not looking too bad at the moment. Round turn 13 into 14 now. Only 2 more corners to go. I don't think he is, you know. I think that's still going to be over 122. I don't think he's going to better his time. Oh, he does. 121.3. Look at that. Puts him into P2. Fantastic run there.
Yeah, and you're, that last sector actually wasn't faster than his previous fastest. If he had managed it, he would have been just a couple of hundredths behind Bogart right now.
Wow. Well, we're with Bastabrini. He's just come round 10, winding himself up to come down to turn 11, 12. Nicely through there. DRS now, bringing him up to turn 13. And this isn't looking too shabby at all. This is not looking shabby at all, actually. Oh, I think he lost a bit there.
But as to bring faster in first and second sectors, I think he might be P2.
Oh, look at that! 121.0! Fantastic!
And Bogart's done. Bogart's in the pit, so yeah, Bastabrini could be on pole.
It looks like he is, and I thought he was looking fast there, gotta say. And, well, we were both wrong. Rob Mouldering is down in P4, but nothing he can do. He's getting ready. He's got one final chance now.
Yeah.
And this is the opportunity that he's got. So I'm going to be somewhat selfish and stay on board here with Rob Mouldering to see if he can break that 121.0.
Well, he won't there because he's just invalidated it.
I was just about to say, did he invalidate it on that turn 1?
Yeah.
Oh,
that's a shame.
That is a great shame. Great shame. Just real world info here. The Q3 time, fastest time in 2018 at Albert Park was set by Lewis Hamilton with a 121.164.
That's pretty close to what we're seeing at the moment.
Yeah, it's not
I think that gap,
too far off.
I think that gap you mentioned in Q2, I think that is probably because I think the drivers in real life don't quite push as hard in Q2, knowing that they're starting the race on the tyres. I think it's slightly different in a game.
Yeah,
where you'll just do it as though it's, you know,
but to be fair, you should do the same really, because those are the tyres you're going to be starting on, so you don't really want to muck them up too much.
Yeah, indeed. How ironic is that though, that Bastabrin's just taken the pole position away from his former teammate?
Yes, I can imagine there's going to be quite a few battles between those two. Nicky Visser comes into the pits, so he's not going to be looking to improve on that. Damie Hartman, he's out on track at the moment. He's not looking too bad here. Coming around the final turn, this could be interesting actually. In the Ferrari, what can he do? 121.7, so it does push him up into the third row, P5. And there we have it. So Bastabrini in the Renault takes pole position. Alongside him will be his former teammate Seb Bogart in the Haas. So this is going to be very, very interesting indeed. So there's not going to be any, how can I put it, any camaraderie or love lost between them now, is there?
No, certainly not. I mean, they were battling for the championship for the majority of last season, although there were some team orders we saw. Won't be any of that this season.
Definitely not. So Bastabrini takes the pole. Alongside him will be Seb Bogart in the Haas. Row 2 will be Nicky Visser in the Mercedes. Alongside him will be Rob Mouldering in the Sauber. Row 3, Damie Hartman in the Ferrari. Alongside him, his former teammate, Boy Williamson in the Mercedes. So again, interesting little pairings there. Hans van der Berg in the McLaren, the rookie driver, takes P7. Fantastic result for McLaren on that one. I'm really very, very impressed with him.
Yeah, as I said earlier on, it's you know, you never quite know what kind of pace the new drivers are going to have, and yeah, it's good to see him up there.
Definitely, and it's certainly going to be interesting. But I'm looking at these weather conditions, and I've got to say, it's I mean, we had cloud obviously during the qualifying session, but it's looking even greyer now, or is it just my imagination?
I think it's just as grey as it was in the previous session. I can check the temperature for you. Well, I can't actually until they start the formation app because it doesn't update until someone's on track.
That's true enough, and we'll run through the drivers and their positions once they do ready up and get on track. Bas de Breen readied up. He's keen, isn't he? I think Bas is going to be looking to prove a point here in Albert Park. So there we have it, and let's run through the drivers and their positions. So Bas de Breen in the Renault P1, Seb Bogard, his former teammate, will be alongside him in the Haas. Nicky Visser will be P3 in the Mercedes. Rob Moldering in the Sauber will be P4. Damie Harmon in the Ferrari P5. Boy Williamson, his former teammate as well from season 4, will be in a Mercedes alongside him in P6. Hans van der Berg in the McLaren, the rookie driver, fantastic, P7. He will be alongside Guido Ershine in the Force India. John Donkel, P9 in the Renault. P10, Mark Stappers in the Sauber. Marcel France, P11 in the Red Bull. Stan Drumkov in the Williams will be P12. Marcel Dronig in the Haas, P13. Zander Hermans in the Toro Rosso will be P14. P15, Marco Pullen in the Force India. Martin Parder Cooper will be in the Ferrari P16. Kevin Van Delft in the Williams P17. Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso P18. John Muss, new driver, rookie to F1 tonight in the McLaren P19. And Miguel Torney bringing up P20 in the Red Bull.
Can you pick a winner from those?
I was just thinking about that actually, gotta say, and God, I don't. I'm gonna stick with Rob Moldering actually. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with Rob Moldering because he's always shown good form in races.
I'm gonna. Yeah. No, it certainly has. It's probably a good call. I'm going to throw a bit of a curveball out there and say Nicky Visser.
Oh, yeah, well, that's not a bad shout either, to be fair. I mean, Nicky's very, very strong as well. So, this is F1 tonight, Season 5, and we are about to get underway here at Albert Park for the first race of this Season 5. Expect thrills, spills, and an awful lot more in between. The lights are coming on, and we are off for the start of this F1 tonight. Australian Grand Prix, great start there from the pack, coming down now to turn 1. This is going to be interesting because 5 and 6 into 1 do not go. And we can see here, look at this, Rob Moldering already gone up 2 places. Seb Bogart's dropped down 1, Damie Harmon up 1, Nicky Visser down 2, Hans van der Berg has already moved up. We're coming down now to that turn 3. Oh, dearie me, the Ferrari going wide there. What is going on with Van der Berg challenging the Haas as they're coming round there. Sorry, Mercedes of Nicky Visser gets through. And he's already up into 4th place. Rob Moldering is up into 2nd place from 4th. Seb Bogart has dropped down 1. Bas de Breen does maintain his position, but everyone else is looking pretty clean at the moment. I don't think. Oh no, we do have some collisions.
No.
Martin Parder Cooper, Peter Phillips has gone off. Martin Parder Cooper and Kevin Van Delft are out by the looks of it.
Yeah, there's a heavy collision. I don't know what caused the Van Delft collision, but he retired. He had a sort of a wheel missing, and he was in the middle of the track, and poor Cooper behind, it was about sort of 2 or 3 cars behind. He just found himself in a position where he just had to go straight into the back of him. And so that's the end of Cooper's race. Absolutely nowhere to go at all.
What an awful, awful shame there for those guys. So disappointed with the first race and all the hard work they put through, but that is racing. Whether it's esports or real world, that's what happens. So first lap is done from, and dusted, but Basta Green. Adrian,
yeah, no, sorry. I was just going to say, Nicky Visser. He's not had a great start at all, dropping 2 places back from P3. The new boy though, Hans Vanderberg, he's up to P4 from 7.
Yeah, he's done fantastic, up 3 places there. Seb Bogart's dropped down 1, so he's gone from 2 to 3. Rob Mulderink's gone up 2 from 4 to 2, and he is really up close and personal at this moment in time with that Renault of Basta Breen. Hans Vanderberg, as we said, he's gone up 3. Nicky Visser dropped down 2. Damie Hartman dropped 1. Boy Williamson dropped 1. John Donkel's gone up 1 from 9 to 8. Guido Airshine's dropped 1 from 8 to 9, and Stan Drumkov's gone up 2. Zander Herman's up 3, and that is undoubtedly to do with that collision. But Marcel France, he's really come off poorly there. Dropped down 6 from P11. Oh, dearie me! And that was
Yeah, it's John Donkel.
Is that John Donkel?
He lost it in the chicane.
Yeah, Hans Vanderberg, I think, nearly went into the back of him there, and oh no, that has really hit Hans Vanderberg, because he nearly was out himself by the looks of it. That was very nasty.
Yeah. Suddenly dropped 9 places, De Berg. He was, as we were just talking about him, he was P4, wasn't he?
He was doing fantastically well. DRS has now been enabled.
Got a lot of work to do now.
Yeah, definitely. An awful lot of work to do. Wow, what an awful shame. But now let's get on there and see where we are.
Pretty close at the front of the pack. The top 3 all within sort of half a second of each other. They're waiting for the DRS zones.
They are all very close to one another. I mean, Rob Mulderink only 6/10 off the back of Basta Breen. Seth Bogart 5/10 off the back of him. We've got a bit of a gap then to Damie Hartman, but Boy Williamson is still a bit of a gap there as well. Mark Stappers is looking to close in on Zander Hermans, and Marcel Dronig is also closing in on Marco Pullen, but Marco Pullen equally closing in. So 9 and 10. P9 and 10 under contention. Well, P9, 10 and 11, the 4 drivers there, all very close. Hans Vanderberg now, he's really, oh dearie me, he's gone off. He's just trying too hard. He needs to chill out a bit, Hans Vanderberg. He was doing well, but he went right off track, nearly went into the back of those cars, and he's really suffering. Dropped right down to P14 now. He's just got to take a deep breath and chill out, hasn't he?
Yeah, no, it's so easy just to completely lose your concentration, especially after an incident, and especially when you're so far up as well. It just being in that position, even for a short time, it does get the adrenaline going, and then when something happens to just ruin it, you then try everything you can to make up the places. And Mark Stappers is out. I don't know where he's crashed. Turn 3.
Turn 3?
Yeah, bottom of turn 3. Lost the wheel, it looks like. Must have bounced off the inside wall.
So Mark Stappers goes out, turn 3. So Basta Breen still leading the pack. He's got Rob Muldering 5/10 off the back of him. Seb Bogart 6/10 off the back of him. So very close in these top 3 now. Damie Hartman's 4, Boy Williamson 5, Guido Airshine 6, Stan Drumkov is 7, Zander Hermans 8, Marcel Dronig 9, Marco Pullen 10, Miguel Torney 11, and John Muss 12, and his teammate Hans Vanderberg looking to try and get past him now, and he definitely needs to take a little bit of a chill pill. He's alongside his teammate as they're coming down to 13. Don't want to see any collision here. Yeah, makes the move in 13. goes up to P12. Now, is it worth him coming into the pits now and going on to a hard compound tyre? That's the question. What do you think? Is it worth going on to the soft?
But it's definitely a viable strategy, and also having the sort of clean air around you, no other drivers, it can help you get back into your sort of zone. So yeah, I think it can help him calm down a bit.
I think that'd be a good idea if he did that and came in, but we'll see.
Strategy with commentating sort of very different sort of when they're on track. When you're in the discussion, you got still going your head. Do I come in? Do I keep pushing? Do I sort of back off? You know, there's so many decisions you have to make.
Yeah, because again, you're not, it's not like the real world where you're running with a team to back you up. It's down to you, really. And if you want to listen to Jeff.
Yeah, we all know how helpful Jeff is.
Yeah, that's true. The words "hole in head" jumped to mind. So we're in lap 5 now of 58. We've settled down a little bit. A lot of contention, certainly. We saw, unfortunately, Kevin Van Delft go out. Martin Paardenkoper go out. He had nowhere to go. Went into the back of the Williams of Van Delft. Mark Stappers then, John Donkel then went out in the Renault. And then that was followed by Mark Stappers, turn 3. So really disappointing to see those 4 drivers out so early on in the session, but we are still left with 16 drivers. Hans van der Berg, who had a phenomenal start, got up to P4, unfortunately got involved in that incident there with John Donkel. Was lucky that he didn't actually suffer any major damage at all, but really affected his whole race and his position. So it's going to be interesting to see how he responds to that, because that, to me, if he gets in the top 5 from where he is now, it's going to mean an awful lot. It's going to mean that he is really going to be a driver to watch for this season.
Yeah. I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, if he can show
Seb
some...
Bogart's gone off. Seb Bogart's gone off.
You're joking?
No, he went off. He has. I don't know if he's got any front wing damage. It looks like on the exit of 12. So when you hit that DRS, I don't think he's got any front wing damage, but he was off the track right over on the right-hand side. So clearly he spun out when he laid down the power and hit that DRS.
I think he has got damage. He's it looks like he's understeering quite a lot.
He's into
coming
the pits.
in, which he is.
Yeah, Seb Bogart into the pits. So he has caused damage to his car there, and that's opened it up now, certainly for Damie Hartman and Boy Williamson, because they were 4 seconds off the back of him. And, well, Damie Hartman is still 5 seconds off the back of Rob Mouldering, but it's given him an open road to try and close down to the Sauber in his Ferrari.
Yeah, I'm in shock slightly still that Bogard went off. I don't know. We never really see that. We don't sort of make too many mistakes on track. Obviously, quite sort of famously crashed out in Brazil near the end of last season. But yeah, no, it's the first time I've seen him do anything like that.
No,
and yeah, as you say, Hartman.
It was definitely on the exit of 12 when he was laying down that DRS, because that's where I saw him. Saw him on the rough there, so to speak. So that's clearly where the error happened.
Yeah, but those drivers in their sort of top 4, then they're now able to race without Bogard, the reigning champion around them.
Yeah,
which can have an effect on their confidence.
Definitely,
Positive
and I think that's going to definitely going to positively improve. But look at this, Stan Drumkov. He's doing very well. Look at this. He's up in P5.
P5 on soft tyres as well. So if he can get within sort of just a few, well, he's just a few seconds away of from the drivers in front. Yeah, this could be advantage Drumkov.
Well, we've seen Drumkov do this before. I mean, he's moved up 7 places, started in P12, he's up to P5. I'm just trying to struggle to think which race we saw him actually do something very similar. I think it was Mexico, wasn't it?
It could have been. It could have been. So I've had quite a few night's sleep since then, so it's very fun.
I think it was, but yeah, he's really starting to come through, and I was expecting this to be the season where he would show his worth, but a great result for him. 7 places from P12 up to P5, so he really needs to stick with it and try and close down that 7-second gap that he's got at the moment to Boy Williamson.
Yeah, it goes back slightly to you know, what we were saying earlier on about drivers starting outside the top 10 and the advantage that they have, because he was able to start this race on completely fresh tyres. So while the drivers ahead are on worn ultras, you know, his soft tyres have not done anywhere near as many laps.
Yeah, indeed. So it'll be interesting to see how that actually pans out for him. So Stan Drumkov up 7 places to P5. Boy Williamson P4. Damie Hartman in the Ferrari P3. Rob Mouldering in the Sauber, and he is really still up close and personal to Bastianini. He hasn't really let up at all. He's a little bit further behind. He was 5 tenths, he's now 7 tenths, but he's always been within that second behind that Renault, hasn't he?
Yeah, I think that's his target. I don't think he's looking to overtake him on track. I think he's either looking for the undercut or possibly the overcut. He's actually just he nearly lost it in the chicane. Just watching him there, he just cut the corner and nearly did what John Donkle? No,
not Seb Bogart.
Oh, someone crashed out in.
Seb Bogart as well.
Seb Bogart.
Fortunately, he didn't crash out, but
yeah.
So it's going to be interesting to see how this pans out. I'm just going to drop down to Zander Hermans, because he's closing in on Guido Airshine, but equally he's got Marcel Dronig 5 tenths off the back of him in the Haas. So bit of a battle going on here, I think, for P7 by the looks of it.
Yeah. Sorry to change the subject. Molderink's in the pit actually. He's going for the undercut.
So he's going for the undercut. He's going on to a set of super softs. So ultra softs. What can we say on these ultra softs? He's come in P9. The ultra softs probably go what, 10 or 12 laps?
No. Yeah, could do. Sorry, is that Mark Stappis?
Rob Mouldering there.
I think Mark Stappis is with us.
Yes, he is in support. Rob Mouldering there is 1.2 off the back of Marcel Dronig. Zander Hermans is now within shot of Marcel Dronig. So Zander Hermans look at this. This is really close here for P5 and P6. Zander Hermans still trying to close in. So really P5, 6, 7. All very close, these 4 drivers. All it's going to take is one mistake.
Yeah, Bogart's looking at the overtake on Visser for P11. Both drivers are pit, of course.
Looking to close in as he comes round. This is where he lost it. And that Haas needs to get past this Mercedes, but can he do it?
Easy move, I don't think.
Nicky Visser into 13, and he does make it look so easy, doesn't he?
Yeah, Visser wasn't really defending with the ERS. He had it to use, but didn't put it up.
So Seb Bogart makes the move on Nicky Visser in the Mercedes. Takes P11. His next target now is going to be Nicky's teammate, and he is quite a long way down. And
yeah, Mouldering
here
for P6.
Rob Mouldering looking to make the move. We're coming down to turn 9. Can he do it here in turn 9? Yes, he does.
Look how clean that was.
Nicely done. Nicely done there. So Marcel Dronig taken there
So
by
clean.
Rob Mouldering.
Good.
That was a good move there. So I'm just looking at these ultra softs. 10 laps. What do you think? I mean, 12 laps maybe.
On the ultras, yeah. Well, it's difficult for me because I don't really do 100%.
20 laps on the
we're
ultras.
told.
Okay, so
Yeah.
20 laps on the ultras. Super softs, that means we're probably going to be looking around about 30 laps. And the softs then could potentially go up to 40 laps. That's interesting. So a little bit of technical info in our ear there. The ultra softs they can go 20, but they will lose their performance sooner than that.
Hans Vanderberg with the
fastest time, 1:26.7. So Vanderberg is really looking to make a charge. He has gone on to the super softs.
Yeah, Pullen.
Yeah, Pullen is still a couple of seconds off Dronig, but Dronig is on the back of Bas de Breen as he's come out of his pit stop. He is on a fresh set of softs, and Dronig is on the ultra soft. So interesting to see whether he's going to be able to make the move, and then we'll go in car now as they're coming down to turn 13.
Interesting as well, Rob Mouldering. He made the undercut work, didn't he? He was behind Bas de Breen before the pit stops. He's now ahead of him in P3 and P5, respectively. So the undercut has worked.
The undercut has indeed worked for Mouldering, and it's going to be very interesting to see how that actually pans out. Although, hang on a minute, Damie Hartman's into the pits.
Yeah,
so Damie Hartman into the pits. Robert Mouldering, he's maintained his second place. But Bas de Breen, he's got Guido Airshine in between them. Guido's still to come in, so he will close in. And Hans Vanderberg is now closing in on the back of Nicky Visser. Now this is going to be interesting because Nicky's very good at defending, and I'm sure he's not going to make it easy for Vanderberg, but he is right on his gearbox as they're coming out of turn 2. He's got the DRS now, they're coming to 3. Visser is looking to defend, but God, he's fast, isn't he? Look at that, braking deep there, straight into turn 3.
That was really so late on the brakes.
I'm amazed that he actually made that corner. I'm amazed that he made that corner.
Yeah, some good skill there. It's obviously really comfortable with the car. Boy Williamson looks like he might be closing in on Damie Hartman.
Yeah, his former teammate Damie Hartman. Yeah, they're coming down to turn 13. He's 4 tenths off the back of him, but Damie's got Marco Pullen ahead of him as well. So this is going to be interesting to see how they actually perform here. Boy Williamson obviously in the Haas, Damie Hartman in the Ferrari. They were former Haas teammates, and ahead of them they got Marco Pullen in the Force India.
I think Hartman's got I think Hartman's got DRS failure, because he was definitely within DRS range of Pullen ahead.
Yeah, and Boy's making the move on Hartman now as they're coming down, and I think you're right. He's got no DRS. That back wing is not opening, and he looks. Oh, dearie me! Boy Williamson loses it. He went in deep to overtake, loses it as he's coming round turn 4, gives the place back to Damie Hartman.
Yeah, I can't explain that one. It's not a cold track. It's not on worn tyres. It's just must have been a lapse of concentration there.
No, I think he just laid down the power with two. You know when you're turning a corner and you've got too sharp a turn, you lay down the power and it just brings out the back end of the car.
Yeah, bit of oversteer.
I think he had too much steering on there, and when he laid down the power, it just spanned the back out.
Yeah, quite right. Yeah, Mulder is. Yeah, we were just told Mouldering is closing in quickly on the.
Sorry, but I'm just watching this here with Marco Pullen and Damie Hartman and Boy Williamson, because Marco Pullen was all over the back of Damie Hartman here, and equally he's got Boy Williamson all over the back of him. So this is looking very, very techy. Deary me, that is unbelievable. Yeah, Rob Mouldering is closing in on Stan Drunkov. Stan Drunkov leading the race. I think this is the first time we've seen Stan Drunkov leading a race, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Yep. I don't know if he's led a complete lap.
But Rob Mouldering is just looking for every possible option that he has to try and overtake this Mercedes. I think he's going to look to try and make the move, if not into 9, certainly round the exit of 10. And let's not forget he's got the DRS on the exit of 12.
Not only that, he's got softer tyres and much younger tyres as well. Plus plenty of ERS.
He's got loads of ERS, yeah. Boy, Williamson was still pushing big time on Marco Pullen. Yeah, Marcel Dronig closing down to his former teammate Guido Erschein for 10th place as Mouldering. Well, but we're on board at the moment with Rob Mouldering, and surely he has to do it now, down into turn 1.
A sloppy exit.
It was a sloppy exit, but I think he's going to be able to do it down now into turn 1. Yeah, he's got the DRS, makes the move, and takes P1 from Stan Drunkov. Go down now to Boy Williamson on Marco Pullen. They're coming down to P1, and that Boy Williamson makes the move on Marco Pullen. I think Marco just letting him through, moving aside there. And let's get down now to Marcel Dronig on Guido Erschein as they're coming round the final corner. Marcel Dronig will have the advantage. He's on a fresher set, or rather he's on a faster set of tyres on Super Softs. They're both on the same there, 0 laps, so first lap effectively for them. But look at that, Guido keeps him at bay. That was good work there, and uses the width of the road, doesn't he?
Yeah, well defended by Guido. I think the fans in that main grandstand, I think they've chosen the right seats, because we've seen a lot of overtakes or attempted overtakes on the start and finish straight, that DRS zone.
That DRS zone coming down to turn 1 has been a lot of overtake moves, certainly on there.
Might see a move again.
Dronig still pushing.
Boy Williamson fastest in the first sector, by the way.
Well, he is certainly moving in that Mercedes, it has to be said, but a little bit of a spread now. I mean, Stan Drunkov, he's well, losing time to Rob, but Rob is really blasting, but Basta Breen really needs to close down that gap, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's trying his best. Yellow flags in sector 3, I was just trying to see where that
yellow
was.
Flags, yellow flags.
So yeah, it's John Muss. He's
it's Marcel France, isn't it?
No, it was John Muss. He spun the car, I think, or went off track, and was just waiting for a safe time to come back onto the track.
Come back onto the track, yeah. Yeah, so John Muss there.
Yeah, blue flag showing.
He's going to need to move aside to let these guys through as they're coming down to turn 1. Marcel Dronig now is going to look to try and make the move. Oh, and in the background there, Zander Hermans goes off. Didn't know which way to go, so went onto the rough. That was a bit of a shame there, because his tyres are going to be suffering from that now. But Marcel Dronig is still on the gearbox of Guido Erschein in the Force India, the Haas on the Force India here. But Guido is defending very well, it has to be said, because Dronig is on the faster compound tyres on those Super Softs, isn't he?
Yeah, he's he's on the softer compound. He has got the advantage, and again, he's got more ERS in it than Guido, and there's contact. I
think there is a little bit of contact there. Yeah, I don't know if he's got any damage to that front wing. Doesn't look like he has. I think it was minimal.
I saw something fly off. Could be, it could be just minimal. It doesn't look like there's an impact or anything.
Can't see any winglets gone on that front wing, so still looks pretty good. We'll soon tell if he comes into the pits. He has certainly backed off somewhat. No, he's staying out, so I'd say it's looking pretty safe at this moment in time. Right, we're on lap 18 of 58. We're about a third of the way through this Australian Grand Prix here at Albert Park. This is F1 tonight, and this is the opening race of season 5. We've already had 5 drivers go out. Kevin Van Delft was the first man. Martin Parder-Cooper had little recourse, unfortunately went into the side of him, nowhere else to go. John Donkel in the Renault is out. Mark Stappers in the Sauber is out, and Marcel France in the Toro Rosso is out. That leaves us with John Muss in the McLaren P15, new driver to F1 tonight, rookie driver. Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso 14, Miguel Tourney in the Red Bull 13, Zander Hermans in the Toro Rosso is 12, Marcel Dronig here, as we can see, in the Haas P11, fighting to get past Guido Airshine. He's in P10. Is he going to make that move now? Yes, he does. No, he doesn't.
Oh,
yes, he does.
Bit of a nudge.
God,
Bit of a nudge from Dronig.
I think that was a little bit of I'm coming through, get out of the goddamn way. But, yeah, finally, Marcel Dronig takes that P10 from Guido Airshine. Nicky Visser in the Mercedes is P9. Hans van der Berg, well, he's already got up to P8. It's got to be said, he is moving through that field, isn't he?
Yeah, he certainly got some pace. I think he was a little bit unlucky at the
he was very unlucky
of
with that
this
incident
race.
there with John Donkel. He just got caught up. He was also lucky he didn't get any damage there, to be fair.
Yeah, so there's still sort of 40 laps of this race to go yet, so you have to wait and see how this pans out for him.
How this pans out, indeed. And Seb Bogart, after making that terrible mistake in sector 3 out of 12, he's down in P7. Marco Pullen picking up the 3-second time penalty. I think that's the first time penalty of the race, actually, so that's interesting. Seb Bogart, he's down in 7. Marco Pullen in the Force India is in P6. Boy Williamson in the second Mercedes is in P5. Damie Hartman. Yeah, Damie Hartman in the Ferrari there, starting to close down now to Bas de Green in the Renault.
Hartman's the fastest man on the track at the moment.
Wow.
His last lap was 26.9. Although, actually, having said that, Bogart's fastest man on the track now with 26.4.
Wow. Well, we're starting to see this really liven up. And Hartman is certainly closing down on Bas de Green in the Renault in P3. Stan Drumkov holding that P2, though, got to be said. Great result there for the Williams driver for this inaugural race. I'm very impressed with him so far. And looks like Zander Hermans is now closing in on Guido as well. But Guido is not giving up on closing, getting past Marcel Dronig. So real fight going on here for 10 and 11, because that Toro Rosso is right on the gearbox now of Guido Airshine.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that nudge that we saw from Dronig on Guido has just rattled him slightly, and he wants the place back.
Yeah, well, I think he just wants the place back, full stop. I mean, they were battling through. You've got to remember the former teammates with Renault in season 4. So, yeah, certainly something to prove here on his 2 drivers. Look at this. Is he coming around 10? Now, Guido really looking for any way he can pass, but it's allowing Zander Hermans to close down, but also Miguel Tourney, because Miguel Tourney is now in the fight for P12.
Yeah, he is. I think Guido probably made a bit of a mistake there, following going so closely through the chicane. You really need the downforce to stay on track, and that's why he had to slow down quite so much.
Yeah, they're certainly backing up here, but Marcel Dronig is not pulling away at this moment in time. But Damie Hartman, look at that, he's already under a second now to Bas de Green, so he's taken out about 2-3 tenths in the past lap. And now look at this, Zander Hermans looking to make the move on Guido into turn 1. Ooh, that was close, but Miguel Tourney's in the mix as well, as I said. So this is going to be interesting. Somebody is going to have tears in their eyes, I think, soon.
Oh, undoubtedly, undoubtedly. Herman was in ERS mode 5 for that entire section. He's still in mode 5 now, actually. He hasn't got any battery left, but I think he's still trying. Or he's forgotten to turn it back down.
He's probably closer. Look at Damien Hartman now.
Oh, there you go,
tenths off the back of Basta Breen. So he is really closing down on him big time.
Yeah, just compare the last lap times as they go across the line now. We've got 27.1 from De Bruyne and 26.9 from Hartman.
So clearly Hartman is starting to eat away, but then again he is on the faster tyres on those super softs, so hardly surprising.
Yeah, as we just said, just heard, sorry, back markers ahead of them could play a part in closing this gap.
They're coming up on John Muss and then Peter Phillips, so they'll be interested to see what happens there. But this fight here for P10, 11 and 12. Oh, yeah, look at this. Sander Hermans challenging Guido, gets past Marcel Droning, but Marcel Droning takes the place back. And then you've got Sander Hermans and Miguel Torning behind. Look at this, and Guido looking to try and make the move into turn 3, makes it stick, round turn 4, but he goes wide, round
very
4.
wide.
Oh! But Marcel Droning doesn't take advantage. Oh, look at this, he's trying to take advantage now as they're coming down to 6. But he can't get past him. That was lucky there from Ershine, gotta say. He took him on 3, lost it on 4. He was lucky that Droning didn't take it back.
Yeah, there's a battle going on for P2 actually. 2, 3 and 4 all together.
Yeah, we're on board with them now as they're coming down. So Damien Hartman is now 2/10 off the back of Basta Breen, and Basta Breen 3/10 off the back of Stan Drumkov. So this is going to be very interesting as they come down now to turn 3. Their line
Hartman's easily the fastest of these 3 at this moment in time. Yeah, Stan Drumkov really struggling now. He's one of the very few drivers to have not pitted. In fact, he's the only driver to have not come in so far.
Well, it's certainly paid dividends for him. Let's be fair. Let's put him up into 2nd place. He was in for a while in P1. Sander Hermans picking up a 3-second time penalty.
You know this is helping as well, don't you? It's helping Rob Aldrink pull away.
Well, yeah, it's helping Aldrink to pull away and Hartman to close in as well.
Yeah.
Well, sorry, not Hartman, but Williamson is going to give him a chance to start to close down the gap. But
Sander Herman. Is that turn 3? Yeah, Sander Herman spun the car.
So Hermans has spun the car on 3. And Hans Anderberg, 3-second time penalty. Second man to pick up 3-second time penalty, but look at that, he's up to P7. Oh, dearie me, and the Ferrari is really pushing. And now De Bruyne's dropped back a bit from Drumkov because he's having to defend from Hartman.
Yeah, it's a bit of a double-edged sword, isn't it? he's kind of stuck. He can't go any further ahead.
Not easy, and Damien Hartman, look at this, and we'll go on board here with Hartman as they're coming down to turn 6. Round 8 now, and this is so
it's very close, 9, 10 and 11.
That fight still going on for 9, 10, 11 with Dronig, Ershine. Now Pullen's in the mix. I don't know where he came from. Is he? He's come out of nowhere, Pullen.
Yeah, but
oh, Ershine makes the move.
No team orders here, are there?
Definitely not. Ershine makes the move on Pullen.
They're properly racing.
With De Bruyne and Hartman, because this is really close action here as well. We've got some close action down in 11, 10 and 11, but this is the one that's going to make the difference now. And Damien Hartman is going to look to try and make that move into turn 1 if he can. Can't get past, can't get alongside that Renault. He's got first DRS now down to turn 3, but De Bruyne is really pushing on Drumkov again, so he's closed down the gap to him.
Yeah, crucially though, De Bruyne is now 8 seconds behind Moldrink. Just 2 laps ago, he was 5 seconds behind him.
Yeah. And that is where the difference is going to be.
Dronig just lost 2 places, by the way. Both Force Indies have managed to get past.
So Dronig is now down to P11. Marco Pullen's got past him and Guido Airshine. So Airshine making that move with his teammate for 10. He's now up to 9.
Lost another one.
Pullen's just made the move back. So Pullen has just made the move back on Airshine and taken P9 from him.
Oh, Boy Williamson.
Oh no, Boy Williamson's
he's crashed at the chicane. He's in the middle of the track.
He's in the middle of the
debris
track.
Everywhere. Could be punctures.
Nicky Visick approaching him now.
Be careful.
And he's off the track now. He has been cleared. Oh no, he's ahead. He's right in the middle of the track there as they're coming out at 12.
Yeah, and there's parts of his car all over the
Marco Pullen
is
coming round now as well. So they've got to be careful. Hopefully by the time Pullen gets there, that car will have been cleared. Yeah, it has. Just a bit of debris on the ground there. But that is a shame, Boy Williamson. But look, I mean, that's the 3rd incident that we've seen there, and the 2nd DNF at that point.
Yeah. Yeah, it's claiming a few victims. De Bruyne is De Bruyne's posed on Hartman as well. I think he might be looking to finally make this move.
Well, no, Hartman's made the move. Hartman made the move on De Bruyne. Yeah, Hartman, while we were looking at that action there with Boy Williamson, Hartman had made the move on De Bruyne. So now De Bruyne is desperate to try and get back past him.
Hartman almost lost it at the same place where his former teammate just lost it on the previous lap.
Well, it's such a tricky area, though. We were discussing this earlier, Adrian. The thing is, you're coming out at 12, and then you've got that DRS point. You're laying down the power because you want to get down there. And sometimes, if you've got the ERS on as well, it's too much power, and it just pulls the car straight over to the right-hand side. Yeah, the DRS zone's quite early as well. And it is, yeah. It can be a very tricky corner, and it's not unusual for drivers to get caught out on that exit there at 12 once they hit that DRS. Dronig has front wing damage. Yeah, I thought he's got some there. He's dropped right back. He's down to P10. He's going to have to come in and get that processed. Drumkov is into the pits.
Drumkov in the pit, finally.
So
25 laps
now has released Hartman. But look at this. I mean, Hartman now is 11 seconds, 11 and a half seconds off Moldering, and De Bruyne as well. I mean, I'm not too sure what the pit stop window is here, but I think it's round about, it's just under 20 seconds, I think, or thereabouts.
Yeah, something like that, 2021. Yeah, battle for P8.
Well, Guido Escher and Marcel Dronig getting past Stan Drumkov there, obviously, as he's in the pits. But
we might
they
do it
are
here.
Still fighting it out, the former teammates. And Dronig looking to try and make the move. But these guys have been fighting it out for quite a number of laps now, haven't they? Backwards and forwards between the two of them.
I think they're probably sick of the sight of each other, to be honest.
Well, they were former teammates. You'd think they'd, want to get away from each other, but here they are. They're all together again.
Yeah, they're obviously fairly evenly matched on pace. Although you could say Droning's probably slightly quicker, being Erschein's slightly quicker, being on the harder tyre. Yeah,
I would go with that definitely. I think Erschein is the faster, certainly on the former runnings out of the two. And Seb Bogart saying the fastest lap with a 1:26.1, I think that was, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's considerably faster, I think, than the previous fastest lap.
Now, as we know, Damie Hartman made that move on track on De Bruyne, and De Bruyne now is starting to lose pace, but he is on, the soft. Oh, dearie me! And Gershine nearly going off there, very, very close. Went onto the rough as they were coming out of 14. He needs to try and hold off Dronig now as they're coming down to turn one. Dronig pulling alongside him. Oh, dearie me, but Ershine not giving in at all. Look at that. He knows his line. He's got a perfect line there, actually, to be fair, hasn't he, through that 1 and 2. Wasn't worried at all, was he?
No, not even the slightest phased.
No, he knew exactly where he was going, and that was it. So even though Dronig was alongside him. So we're on lap 29 of 58. We're almost we are at the halfway point here for this F1 tonight, season 5, race 1 here at Albert Park, and it has been a fantastic race. I've got to say, it's been action all the way, hasn't it, Adrian?
Yeah, start to well, I was about to say start to end, but we're only halfway through, and it's been plenty of action in this first half. Long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've seen a number of DNFs. Kevin Van Delft, Martin Parder-Cooper, John Donkel. Sorry
to interrupt. There's quite an intense battle actually for P8, Ershine and Dronig, and Stan Drumkov as well, who's on the ultra soft tyre after pitting from the softs on the previous lap.
Yeah, well,
managed to catch these
two
up.
Overtake him when he was in the pits, and I'm going to go on board with Stan Drumkov because he's on those ultra softs. Clearly going to make the move here on Marcel Dronig without any doubt at all down into turn 1, as he does. Easily done there. But now he needs to get to Ershine. Now this is split Dronig and Ershine, so Ershine's probably having a little bit of a side relief, but it's not going to be for long because Dronkov is already on his gearbox, and those ultra softs are really paying dividends for him at this moment, aren't they?
Yeah, they're doing very well. He's obviously going to have to stop again. I mean, if he can take these 20 laps, then that will work perfectly. I think that's probably easier said than done, though. He was struggling on 24, 25 lap old softs. I don't know how he's going to cope.
Well, that's going to be interesting to see. And Seb Bogart, 126.116. So Seb is looking to get through, and Seb's already up to P4. But what did I say earlier about Hans van der Berg, Adrian? And look where he is now.
Yeah, doing very, very well in P5 at the moment. 20 lap old super softs is yellows in sector 2, which I want to see who that is.
In this fight here, so Stan Drumkov obviously made the move on Drone. He's trying to make the move on Ershine now, and I think he'll have it now on this start-finish straight. This is where he made the move on Dronig on the previous lap. Easily done there. Yeah, very easily done. Makes the move. So Stan Drumkov now up into P8. His next target is going to be Marco Pullen, who's 9 seconds down the road. That now obviously means that Dronig is going to be looking to close in on the back of Ershine again. So going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Damie Hartman, though, getting closer. He seems to be getting a little bit closer to Mulderink now. He's under 11 seconds. But Basterby
3 tenths gained.
That gap down.
No, the Bream may struggle. Well, for a few laps anyway, until Hartman and Mulderink's tyres wear out, which should be in the next few laps.
Well, yeah.
Although de Breem's not got many more beyond that.
Well, he's not going to go too many more. Maybe about another 6-7 laps, I guess, on those softs. But Seb Bogart's on 24 lap old softs and still moving. He did set the fastest time, so a couple of laps ago. So clearly those softs are still working for him.
He's actually, amazingly, somehow 6 tenths faster, Seb Bogart is, than Rob Mulderink, who's on younger and
faster tyres.
Stickier tyres.
Yeah. But this is the man for me so far in this race. I have to say, never seen him race before, but I am truly impressed with Hans van der Berg in the McLaren because, you know, I said to you earlier, the measure of a good driver is how he comes back from being knocked back. I mean, he was up. Where was he? He was up into 4th place, wasn't he? So,
yeah.
He was up to P4, had an incident with, or got involved rather with an incident with John Donkel, dropped right down to P14, got up to P12 when I made the comment, and I said, look, this guy's in P12 now. If he gets in the top 5 before the end of this race, he's going to be somebody to watch for this season. And he's done it, and we're only just halfway through the race, so he's actually done it pretty damn quickly.
Yeah, there you go. You're, again, quite right. In that, you know, a good driver is sort of defined by how well he bounces back, and he has bounced back exceptionally well. Not only that, but his consistency has been exceptional. His last 7 laps, all been under 27.5, so all sort of low 27s, and his last 3 laps have all been exactly the same time, 27.004.
Wow. Yeah, this is going to be a man to watch this season, so that's going to be very, very interesting indeed. Obviously, the oldies and the favourites are still up there. Seb Bogart, he's currently P4 in that Haas. Basta Breen in the Renault for, well, just under 5 seconds ahead of him. Then we have Damie Hartman in the red Ferrari this year, and he's currently P2, and he's 11 seconds off the back of Rob Moldering. Oh, excuse me, my voice nearly went there. Quick off-air cough. Rob Moldering, is that now? Hang on a minute. Who called Rob Moldering for the win? I can't remember.
Was it you, by any chance?
Was it me? I think it was, wasn't it, Adrian? I think
this will be
the
only one you win all season.
I think I did, didn't I? I think I did. I think I did call Rob Moldering for the win, and look at that. He's in P1 and has been for quite a number of laps.
Yeah. It was the undercut, wasn't it? The undercut early on.
That undercut definitely worked for him.
It worked to a treat.
Beautiful. It really did work an absolute treat, and it has to be said. And Hans van der Berg now is in and out of the pits. He's gone on to a fresh set of super softs. He's in P6. He's got Marco Pullen, who's going to be closing down on him, but Marco won't have the legs to get on him. But look at that, he's pitted, and that was an excellent pit as well. I mean, he's pitted and come out P6. He's yeah, this is great.
It was probably extra quick because he was actually speeding in the pit lane and did take a 5-second penalty for that.
That's a shame. That's a shame, but still not unusual. But for a rookie driver, or certainly a rookie season, he's clearly not a rookie driver. That's for sure.
Yeah, he's going to have to serve that stop go in the next 3 laps. That's unfortunate because he's having an absolutely phenomenal race.
What happens if he doesn't serve it though?
He will get disqualified if he doesn't come in the next 3 laps. Be straight black flag.
Well, to be fair, he's been in the worst position and he's still got just under half a race left, so we'll see how that pans out for him. I think either way he can pat himself on the back for how he has performed in this race so far.
Yeah, he can certainly be pleased for what he's done.
So let's quickly run through the field at this moment in time. No major challenges happening on track at this moment. Rob Moldering leading the race in this Sauber, and I've got to say, as I was saying, we were having a discussion before the race, myself and Adrian, as to what teams, and I commented earlier, Adrian's quite keen on Renault, which I've got to say I can understand fully, and I'm not a million miles away from. I was looking at Sauber because I was just looking at the drivers, start with Mark Stappers, obviously Mark going out a little bit earlier. That was unfortunate. But Rob Moldering, I mean, I think they're a good combination, those two drivers, and I think we're going to see quite a lot of them during this season.
Yeah, I'd imagine a few few Saubers on podiums throughout the rest of this season. Yeah, like you said, I mean, my favourites are the Renault, although Miguel Torni in P11.
He's looking to try and he's closing down now on Zander Hermans in assist to Toro Rosso, isn't he?
Oh,
3-second time penalty for John Muss.
Hermans just lost it. I don't know if you caught that. Yeah,
no, I didn't.
I just seen him crash crash into the right-hand wall, just coming out of. I'm trying to see where we are. That was turn 5, exit of turn 5. I just check the replay. It was so fast. I don't know whether he was
coming round 3 and 4 now. Yeah, John Musk pulling over to let Nicky Visser past him and Peter Phillips. Yeah, it's green now, so the car has been cleared. So it was yellow flags as Nicky Visser was coming round, but that has now been cleared. So yeah, so as I was saying, yeah, the Sauber team looking strong at this moment in time. And Rob Mouldering into the pits now. Now this is going to be interesting. He's got 11 seconds on Damie Hartman in the Ferrari. Damie just coming onto the straight now. And then Bas Breen is coming round as well. Now he's going on to a fresh set of super softs. This will take him to the end. He's coming out P4. He's going to come out P4 because Nicky Visser is quite a long way down the road now. So Rob has come in, gone on to a fresh set of super softs. They will undoubtedly, yeah, they'll take him to the end of the race. 22 laps, won't they? Of course they will.
Yeah, it should do.
Yeah. So Seb Bogart.
Yeah, Bogart's still
looking to still try and close that gap to his former teammate De Bruyne, isn't he?
Somehow Bogart is still setting 26 fours on 29 lap old soft tyres.
Well, it has to be said that Seb Bogart is a bit of a winner when it comes to stretching out those tyres. Not too dissimilar, though, to be fair, to Mark Stappers, because we've seen Stappers in Season 4 do some phenomenal runs with tyres. I think 50 laps, I remember, on one race. I can't remember if you were commentating on that one.
Yeah, I remember it well. And
50 laps. I mean, that was phenomenal. And we can hear in the background, because actually, interestingly enough, we got Mark in the background giving us support here on the commentary team, and that was in Sochi. I mean, that was absolutely phenomenal. So, yeah, not unusual certainly. And Seb Bogart is really eking every little last bit out of those softs, but he needs to, doesn't he? This is the thing, he really does need to.
Yeah, he hasn't got much of a choice if he wants to sort of, recover from his mistake earlier on. And just going back to Mark Stappers at Russia, yeah, I remember it because I kept getting more and more anxious every lap they didn't come in.
Yes.
When is he going to come in?
When is he going to come off those tyres?
The relief, the absolute sheer relief I felt when he did finally come in. It was unreal.
Yeah, he's saying easy drive in the background for those of you that are listening. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not an easy drive, and I know Mark won't necessarily say so, but Mark is, and I believe he still is, I'm not too sure for Season 5, I will clarify that, but Mark is still the only driver that not only drives in cockpit view, but also drives with all assists off, and I think he is unique in F1 tonight still with regards to that, it has to be said, and that is really hardcore.
Yeah, yes. Really?
That yeah, well, tell him not to, because it ain't gonna work.
He's just set the fastest lap of the race, actually, at 25.2. That is a fast lap. Yeah,
definitely a fast lap. So again, sorry for those filling in the gaps for you. We've just been told that Rob Mouldering, who's currently in P4, was leading this race, and who I've tagged to win this race, and I still think he's going to. He is also going to attempt to drive in cockpit view with all assists turned off this year, so that's interesting. So let's keep an eye on that. So Rob Mouldering, as we know, he's down in P4. Hans van der Berg, has he come in? Did he serve that penalty? I don't think he has he?
I didn't see him come in.
So
yeah, Bogart's looking to make the move under DRS.
Looking to make the move on his former teammate Bas Breen in the Renault. Oh,
it was contact
there, and he's into the wall. Seb Bogart is out. Oh my goodness me. Well, I've got to say, not down to Bas Breen. That was totally Seb's fault. I don't know what you think, Adrian.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, it 9 times out of 10, or 99 times out of 100, it's the driver behind's responsibility to not hit the car in front. And I think, yeah, I think he just sort of got a bit too close.
He did. I mean, there was, well, I mean, he was coming past him, but then there was wheel-to-wheel contact, and that just spanned the Haas out at that speed and straight into the wall. So Seb Bogart has DNF'd whilst trying to overtake his former teammate Bas de Breen, who went into the pits and is now out on a fresh set of super softs. But I've got to say, no fault from de Breen there. I think de Breen didn't do anything wrong. I think it was just Seb Bogart, unfortunately, misjudging it.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the replay now. Sorry, de Breen held his line. He didn't change where he was going. But Bogart was going up the left-hand side and changed his mind at the last minute, dived up the inside and made contact with the back of de Breen's car.
So great shame to see Seb Bogart out, but well, I think he only has himself to blame on that one. We are now on board with Nicky Visser in the Mercedes, and he's closing in on the Williams of Stan Drumkov. And Damien Hartman picking up a 3-second time penalty there for Sauber. And that's going to be interesting because de Breen's only 3.6 seconds off the back of him. And these guys are going to the end of the race, so I think that could come into play. I don't know, while we're here actually, Mark, could you just check out whether Hans served that 5-second penalty or not, please? So we're just going to quickly check on whether Hans van der Berg did actually come in, because I'm sure he hasn't. And I'm sure 3 laps have elapsed. I don't think he actually gets it. I think he gets double time points added on at the end of the race, I think.
Yeah, I think you could be right, actually. That's annoying because I had the same thing happen in my race in Division 2 in Synergy, and it told me I had to come in, otherwise I was going to get black flagged, so I came in.
Either that, or was it not speeding? Was it not just a straight 5-second penalty that he got for speeding in the pit lane? I think it was a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane.
On the race director, it's telling me it's a stop-go.
Oh right, okay.
He might just do it on his next pit stop. Is he going to have a natural pit stop?
Not really. He's on 7-lap old super softs, so he shouldn't be.
No. Well, then it might just add 10 seconds.
Did he serve it or not?
Yeah.
I think he actually got away.
It says he stopped twice.
Yeah, I think he just got. No, if he stopped twice, he's doing well because he's up to P4 for God's sake, and he's got 13 seconds on Marco Pullen. So, well, whichever way, he clearly has cleared that penalty, and he's on track, and he's in P4, which is phenomenal.
Yeah, and just gained half a second on de Breen. Even though de Breen's on 2-lap old tyres.
Well, that is certainly interesting. And Nicky Visser is closing in on his former teammate now of Marco Pullen in the Force India. And he is determined to get past him as they're coming down to turn 3. Oh, and Pullen just cuts his legs there, doesn't give him the opportunity to get past. And he is really holding off that former teammate of Nicky Visser, defending very solidly, it has to be said.
Hans van der Berg just scraped the wall on the exit of, I don't know my turns, I think that's turn 7. Just before, before the straight on the chicane.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just watching this fight here between Pullen and Visser. And Visser makes the move, gets past Marco Pullen, but now Stan Drumkov is in the Williams is closing in on the back of. Oh, Stan nearly losing it. Around turn 12, going on the rough there.
That's scary.
Yeah, that was a little bit. That was a little bit of a, little bit of a brown stain moment. So
Green
bit of a
fastest man
fight
out there now.
going
He's
here
found his grip.
for P6. Nicky Visser gets up to P5, makes the move, but Stan Drumkov now, he's too far away. He's lost time now to Marco Pullen. So quick rundown, we're on lap 42, 58, 16 laps remaining, the final third of this race, and leading we have Rob Mulderink in the Sauber. A fantastic race from him. He's really judged it so well, clearly going on these super softs to the end. Damie Hartman in the Ferrari is currently sitting in P2, and he's on 3-lap old soft, so again he's going to be going to the end of this race. Bas de Breen is in 3rd place, and a 5-second stop go for speeding the pit lane for Miguel Torney, and I'm sure that's what I saw come up for Van der Berg actually, so I think he did serve it and just got the 5 seconds. Hans van der Berg, he's in P4 for McLaren, the rookie driver to F1 tonight, and really driving a fantastic race, has to be said. He's got knocked back early on in the race, but he's come back from that. Nicky Visser in the Mercedes, he's in P5. Marco Pullen in the Force India, P6. Stan Drumkov, really good solid race from him as well, he's in P7. Guido Airshine in the Force India, he's down in P8. Marcel Dronig in the Haas is in P9. Miguel Torney in the Red Bull is P10, so those guys all in the points. Just out of the points we have Peter Phillip in the Toro Rosso, he's P11. And the new rookie McLaren driver as well, John Muss, he's still hanging on in there in P12. So good for him, don't give up. And then we have our DNFs. Seb Bogart was the latest DNF there when he was trying to overtake his former teammate Bas de Breen in the Renault. Bit of a tyre contact, spins him off. Zander Hermans as well, he's out. Boy Williamson, he's out. Marcel France, he's out. Mark Stappers out as well. John Donkel, Martin Paardenkoper and Kevin Van Delft. So we've lost 7 drivers due to attrition, DNFs effectively. And we've got now 14 laps remaining. I don't know, could you say attrition there? What do you think?
Yeah, I suppose it is.
Yeah, I suppose you could say that. Yeah, it's going to be very, very close here. And I'm just having a look at these tyres. Obviously, I think everyone's pretty safe to go to the end of the race on the tyres they're on, apart from Stan Drumkov and Guido Airshine and Peter Phillips.
Yeah, it's yeah, they're gonna have to push it.
Well, Stan Drumkov's in the pits now.
Yeah.
Guido Airshine, 28 laps on those softs. He's clearly not going to be able to do another 14 laps on those. Or is he?
He might try. He might try. You know what Guido's like with his train
well, I don't know.
strategy
We always
sometimes.
think that he's going to try, but he never does and then comes in.
It's possible, we're told.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how that pans out, if that being the case. So, damn, sorry, I'm just distracted at the moment, Adrian. So if you could cover at this second, I'd appreciate it.
No worries. Just watching Stan Drumkov. Well, I hope you are. I'm watching Stan Drumkov at the moment in P8. It's actually Rob Mulderink ahead of him. He's a whole lap ahead. It looks like he's trying to unlap himself. He's on very fresh, ultra soft tyres, having just come in on the previous lap. He is entitled to unlap himself if he is indeed faster.
Well, there is certainly is. Oh, I'm just trying to see what. Yeah, I'm on board with Stan Drumkov now, and he's got Marcel Dronig showing us 8 seconds behind him. So who is that that's behind him at the moment then? Oh, sorry, in front of him. Sorry, I've got the wrong one.
Yeah,
This is
no,
the way
yeah,
the camera is.
yeah, no.
So yeah.
Oh, right.
Yeah, but hang on, I don't get this. Who is that that's in front of him? Because that's a Sauber by the looks of it.
Yeah, that's Moldering. He's a lap ahead, and
He's
I think
trying
he's
to
looking
unlap
to himself. Yeah.
I was getting a little bit confused.
Which he can do.
You can do. You are perfectly entitled. Now, this is the bit that gets confusing, okay? If you're entitled to unlap yourself and you get past that driver, but he's still closing in on you, are you not going to get blue flagged?
Yes, you will get blue flagged. Yeah.
So, what's the point in trying to, you know, unlap yourself unless, you know, let's say for instance, well, he's on ultra softs, and let's say Muldrick is on softs, then that would be a reasonable thing. But you know, ultra softs, super softs, he's going to get blue flagged as soon as he gets past him anyway, because Muldrick's going to be behind him. Yeah, Marco Pullen is making the move on his teammate now, Guido Airshine, and surprise, surprise, it's into turn one. And Pullen makes the move.
Drumkov's got the fastest lap of the race, and then 3-second penalty.
So Pullen gets up into P6, gets past his teammate Guido Airshine. Nicky Visser still sitting in 5. Hans van der Berg is in 4. Bas de Breen 3. Damie Hartman 2, and Rob Muldrink still there. We've got 5 laps remaining. God, is it me? But this last final third's gone really quickly.
It just whizzed by. Yeah, 11 laps. Yeah.
So 11 laps now remaining, and I've got to say, for an opening race, this has really been absolutely unbelievable, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's a bit of everything in this first race of the season. Just keeping on De Bruyne, he's just 1.1 seconds behind Hartman. Joining fun. The chicane again.
So Dronig spins at turn 12, although he does still stay
damage
on track. So there you have it. Bas de Breen 1.5 seconds off the back of Damie Hartman. He is on the super softs. Can he close it down? He's got 10 laps to go. Certainly more than possible. Well, what do you think, Adrian? Is he going to be able to make that move on Hartman and get into second place?
Well, if nothing else, he's going to put extreme pressure on Hartman for him to hold on to that P2. Yeah, I mean, he's got absolutely every opportunity now between to where we are now, lap 48 in the end of the race, to make that move. And we know what De Bruyne's like with saving up his ERS to make the move as well. He's good at his preparation.
Yeah, that is very true. So now, interestingly enough, Van der Berg is 4 seconds behind them. He is on 15-lap-old Supersoft, so he's got another 10 laps. They will be 25 laps old. I don't think he's going to push, though, to be honest. I think he's just going to try and maintain a steady pace to the end of that race and take that P4, unless something happens ahead of him that gives him the opportunity to get on that podium. But I don't think he's going to push.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It'd be silly for him to sort of waste the energy in his tyres, bearing in mind he's on 15-lap-old supers, 10 laps to go. Yeah, Guido's in the pit.
Guido in the pits.
Guido's in the pit. That 32-lap-old.
I told you. I said he's going to come in unexpectedly.
Yeah, you did.
And he's going to go on to Ultra Softs, I'm sure of it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he's onto the Ultra Softs. Yeah, I mean that's the wise move, wise call to make, really, with 9 laps remaining. Yeah, Tawny loses it coming round turn 15. Gets on the dirty side of the grass there. Peter Phillips, 11th. John Musk still hanging on in there. Good for him, I've got to say. It's not easy when you're bringing the rear of the field, is it? To be fair.
No, not really. I think we were about to see an unfamiliar name get the fastest lap of the race at the moment. This man's just got purple sector 1 and 2. It'll come up any moment now, I'm sure, when he crosses the line. And it's Marco Pullen. 23.7.
1:23.7 from Marco Pullen. But, you know, he is capable. He's a capable driver. But I think he just, you know, we saw him improving, I think, and getting back to his old form, certainly towards the middle and latter end of season 4. He had a bit of misfortune, a bit of bad luck. But I think this could be a great season for him this year. Or this season, rather.
Yeah.
So here we are now with 8 laps remaining, and I think it's pretty safe to say everybody that's on track now can certainly go the 8 laps that are remaining. The only one we've got to be a little bit careful, that's probably got to be a little bit careful, 2 drivers, is Marcel Dronig. Well, 3 drivers actually. Miguel Torni's on 21 lap old super softs, Marcel Dronig on 18 lap old, and Hans van der Berg on 17. But judging by those guys ahead of him,
it should be okay.
He shouldn't be really having any problems.
No, he shouldn't do. De Bruyne's just again, he's 1.1 behind. He was 0.9 behind Hartmann. So yeah, I think the pressure is increasing.
Well, he's certainly he's closing in, but not in any major way on Hartmann. But I suppose he's got time to sort of get it right, hasn't he? He's got 7 laps effectively remaining, 6 laps once they get over the line here now. He's only just over a second behind him. How's his DRS looking? It's looking pretty poor, actually.
Looking okay. Yeah, I mean, it's about the same as
about the same as Hartmann's. Hartmann's a little bit less.
Significantly, Hartmann has a 3-second penalty and De Bruyne has none. Ah,
yes, I knew that was going to come into play. I did mention that earlier, and I couldn't remember who it was, but no, well worth mentioning. That is correct. There is a 3-second penalty there for Hartmann. De Bruyne is on 0 penalty, so all he's got to do, really, he doesn't have to push. He gets the opportunity to overtake, fine. Otherwise, he's going to take 2nd place.
Yeah, I think he's aware of that. He knows he's got no penalties. Jeff would have probably told him by now that Hartmann's got 3 seconds. So yeah, I think he's just managing that gap.
And while we say that, Airshine just picks up a 3-second time penalty. Now the question in here is obviously Van der Berg. He is 6.8 seconds behind them. With that 3-second time penalty, if he were to take out, well, as it stands at the moment now, 5 seconds, can he do 5 seconds in 6 laps?
He can do. Sorry, John Musk has just spun. It's caused the yellow flags. What was the question, sorry?
Can Van der Berg take 5 seconds out of that 7-second gap he's got at the moment in the remaining 6 laps and possibly take 3rd place on the podium?
I wouldn't have thought so. Yeah, older tyres, and he's actually falling back slightly on De Bruyne. And De Bruyne is actually 0.4 behind Hartmann. I think he's going to make the move on track. Actually, I think Hartmann might have made a mistake.
I think Hartmann may have made a mistake there, but De Bruyne was certainly closing down the gap. That's for sure.
Oh, De Bruyne just got some massive understeer in turn 5. Managed to hold on to the car though.
Yep, they're coming round 8 now, down to turn 9. Round 10 now. This is where he needs to close in that gap, because if he can get in nice and close, he might be able to make the move on that DRS into 13. But I think he's just too far away. He's dropped back again now.
Hartmann's got another 3 seconds, another 3-second penalty.
Oh, now this is definitely going to be interesting. This now puts a different complexion on it, because all Van der Berg needs to do is get another 2 seconds. If Van der Berg can get under 5 seconds from De Bruyne, he stands a good chance of getting 3rd place on that podium.
Yeah, and I think he does actually have a chance of doing that, because I don't think De Bruyne is looking for the overtake, which means he's going to be held up slightly by Hartmann, which will give Van der Berg that chance that he needs. So yeah, it's entirely possible now.
This is going to be very interesting indeed, because we are now looking at the final stages of this Australian Grand Prix, race 1 here of season 5 for F1 tonight. And what a race it has been, and we are looking at the possibilities here of a rookie driver with McLaren getting on the podium for the first race. But above and beyond that, we're also seeing that, well, Seb Bogart, last year's champion, is out. Bas de Bruyne is still in the running with his Renault, and he's looking good for P2. Why is he looking good for P2? Because Damien Hartmann in the Ferrari has 6 points worth of penalties, or 6 seconds rather worth of penalties, and on that basis he is certainly going to take 3rd place. Bas de Bruyne will jump ahead of him. Rob Moldrink, touching wood here, as long as he doesn't make any mistakes or have any issues, he will take P1. But we are looking at a possibility of 4th place Hans van der Berg of possibly taking P3. But I don't know if he will now, because he's now 7.3 seconds behind or off De Bruyne. So 7.289. No, he's 3 seconds amiss to try and take that podium at the moment, and I don't think he's going to close it down. I think that's it. He will be finishing P4. Unless, obviously, something happens to Damien Hartmann, and anything can happen. We certainly weren't expecting Seb Bogart to go out earlier, but he did. So, yeah, it's still very, very close indeed.
Yeah, it's been a pretty unpredictable race. I mean, you could say, you know, for the first 10 laps at least, it looked like De Bruyne would have been the main man to win this race.
Yeah.
But with the undercut from Rob Moldering, sorry, he's made it work to perfection, and he's ended up 17 seconds ahead of the rest of the field at this point.
I think you're absolutely right. I think that first undercut on the first pit is what really sort of sealed the deal for Rob Moldering, because when De Bruyne pitted and came out, he was 2 places behind him. If I remember correctly, Moldering, I think, was in P3, and De Bruyne came out round about P6, so or P5. Yeah. So it was P6. So yeah, I think that definitely has made a difference. But quality drive has to be said. You know, a pretty faultless drive really from Moldering, and De Bruyne as well. And Hartmann, okay, he's got up there, but he's, you know, you don't want six seconds worth of penalties really when you're up in the front.
No, sometimes being P2, that can put more pressure on than if you're in sort of P1, because you're doing you could say that the win is within your reach, and you just do everything you can to to close the gap down, and in doing that you end up getting penalties, and the driver behind you overtakes you. Yeah,
absolutely. Right, well, 3 laps remaining, or 2 laps, whichever way you want to look at it. John Muss is out. John Muss has crashed out. So, unfortunately, the rookie McLaren driver, John Muss, has indeed crashed out. But great race from him. I mean, you know, it's not easy on your rookie race, and especially if you don't have multiplayer or competition experience, but that will come with time. It's only the first race of the season, so well done, John Muss, and welcome to F1 tonight. Let's hope that your future races will be better. So there we have it, Peter Phillips in the Toro Rosso, P11, Miguel Torni in the Red Bull, P10, he'll be picking up a point. Guido Airshine in the Force India, P9. Marcel Dronig in the Haas P8. Stan Drumkov in the Williams. And a good race from Stan, has to be said. He's certainly improved leaps and bounds from his rookie season 4. And he's up in P7. Marco Pullen
led a few laps, didn't he?
He has, yeah. He was actually leading the race for a while, and I think he's done very well. I think he'd be very happy with that. Marco Pullen,
solid drive from him.
P6. Nicky Visser in the McLaren P5. Hans van der Berg, and I've got to say I'm very impressed with this driver. Oh, Bas de Breen is out!
Oh, de Breen!
Bas de Breen!
No, you're joking.
Has gone out! Yellow, and it looks like it's turn 12 again. Yes, it was on the exit of turn 12. He went into the barrier on the right-hand side, and it's crashed out. So Bas de Breen in the Renault has crashed out, and that has now put Hans van der Berg on the podium. Oh, and that was turn 12 again, Adrian.
Yep. it's claiming so many victims this race. The drivers who finished 1 and 2 in the championship last season, 2 teammates, both crashed out in its opening race.
And
I mean, I don't know what the odds on that would have been. Yeah, exactly the same spot.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
So tricky.
And that also means then that. Yeah. So that also means that Hans van der Berg, the rookie, is on for his podium.
Exactly, absolutely spot on. I mean, I did say barring any incident, but there you have it. Anything can happen, and it normally will, and that is what's happened. So Bas de Breen has gone out, who was effectively in second place, and that has now released Hans van der Berg to get on that podium. And I mean, how happy is he going to be to get podium on his first race?
No, he's gonna be absolutely ecstatic.
And
fair play to him. You know, you could even say he'd be he might have been on for P2 had he not had that. He's had a few sort of incidents in the pit lanes, and
yeah, if it wasn't for that 5-second penalty, he would have got P2.
Yeah.
So what a result! So Hans van der Berg, I mean, who I must say has driven a very impressive race. He will be finishing 3rd place on the podium, barring any incident. We are in the final lap now. Damie Hartman will be finishing 2nd, and Rob Mulderink will take the win. And let's ride now with Rob Mulderink as he's coming round Sector 2, soon to be approaching Sector 3. He's round turn 10, coming down to turn 11. And I've got to say, faultless drive from Mulderink, really has been.
Yeah, he's done absolutely everything right this race, and that's what it takes to win. So
yeah.
No, he's done exactly what he needed to do. Well done.
He has indeed done exactly what he needed to do. Comes round turn 13 into 14 now. Only 2 corners to go for the win for this first season 5 race, and Rob Mulderink for Sauber takes the win.
He's out of fuel.
I think he's out of fuel. Fantastic. He has run out of fuel, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Runs out of fuel just as he comes over the line. Damie Hartman for Ferrari will take 2nd place, and Hans van der Berg, the rookie driver for McLaren, on his first race for F1 tonight, gets a podium finish. Oh, he does get that 5-second stop go at the end. Just had it served up, so he's got 5-second stop go at the end of the race. But he still finishes 3rd. Nicky Visser for Mercedes finishes 4th. Marco Pullen, a great result there from Marco as well, has to be said. He's just coming
Marco
round.
Started 15th.
Yeah, to 10 laps, 10 places. He's done a great race. So Marco Pullen will finish in 5th place. And let's watch him over the line. Great race there from Marco Pullen as well. Finishes 5th. Stan Drumkov for Williams finishes 6th. and we'll run through the final runners and riders. But what a fantastic opening race here for F1 Tonight Season 5. We saw quite a few DNFs here at Albert Park, but no great surprise there. But look at that, the win to Sauber for Rob Mouldering. Great result there. Second place goes to Ferrari
and Damie Hartman.
And third place goes to McLaren. Hans van der Berg, the rookie driver for McLaren, gets a podium finish on his first race. Well, that was absolutely phenomenal. And there we have Stan Drumkov 6, Marcel Dronig for Haas takes 7, Guido Airshine for Force India takes 8, Peter Phillips for Red Bull takes, Toro Rosso, takes 9, Miguel Torni for Red Bull takes 10, 11, well, DNF, Basta Breen, John Muss, Seb Bogart, Sander Hermans, Boy Williamson, Marcel France, Mark Strappers, John Donkel, Martin Parder-Cooper and Kevin Van Delft. So basically more or less half the field. Well, it was half the field.
Yeah, it was exactly half the field.
So fantastic opening race there. Adrian, thank you very much indeed for your support there, Mark. Adrian, comments on this first and opening race here?
Well, what can I say about that? That was it was a non-stop action. As I said, we had a bit of everything going on, but very well done to Rob Mouldering. Fantastic strategy and very well played and well driven, deserving of the win.
I am very inclined and to agree with you there. It was an absolutely phenomenal race. Well, next week we are here Thursday night and we're going to be racing. Where are we going to be next week? I can't remember where we are. Is it Spain? No, it's not Spain, is it?
Bahrain.
Bahrain, indeed. So we'll be at Bahrain next week. Join us next Thursday, 7:30 UK time, 8:30 Central European time. You will be guaranteed an absolutely phenomenal race. And I will say now, good night and thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you all, and have a good night. Pleasure to commentate with you again. Eddie.
And indeed, pleasure to be working with you again, Adrian. We look forward to seeing you next week. Don't be there. You're a square. We'll see you there.